Food security is a major challenge for many countries in Africa. At the national and regional levels, how to create a resilient food system across the continent has been the preoccupation of stakeholders for a very long time now. The efforts of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization in addressing the challenge in West Africa is the major focus of this edition of the program. I am Charles Alpha, welcoming you to this week's edition of Africa Weekly. Now, 15 countries from the West Africa and Sahel sub-region, including Nigeria, have held deliberations on the food crisis and malnutrition in the region. The meeting is under the auspices of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization.
Good morning and welcome.
These are delegates from 15 West African countries and the Sahel. They converge on this hall at Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, to discuss one important thing, which is food. Food, not for their personal consumption, but for the 297 million people across the entire West African sub-region. This is the 13th time they are meeting, and this year's theme is joining efforts to build resistant agri-food systems in West Africa and the Sahel.
It will also offer an opportunity to enhance collaboration, joint planning, and mutual accountability in driving actions towards a resilient agro-food systems in West Africa and Sahel.
Climate change, population growth and urbanization were identified as key issues leading to increase in food insecurity in the region and the Sahel.
Countries in West Africa and the Sahel have witnessed the negative impacts of climate change. Declining natural resource base, recurrent natural and human-induced disasters, and rising insecurity.
Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar, Minister of Agriculture, is representing Nigeria at the meeting.
Education, affordable healthcare.
He says food insecurity and malnutrition remain a major challenge for 19 million people in 21 states in the country.
Therefore, it is important to stress the need for coordinated, multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral approaches in tackling agricultural development issues.
United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization is supporting the West African nations to have a better production, nutrition, environment, and life.
All right, joining me now live and via Zoom to discuss this development is the Food and Agriculture Organization Sub-Regional Representative. We're pleased to have you on Africa Weekly. Now, to begin with, what was the wisdom behind the establishment of the multidisciplinary team?
Thank you very much for this question.
Yeah.
The FAO, the United Nations Organization, Food and Agriculture Organization, has established in 2019 its office, in the West African office in Dakar, in Senegal. And we are there with all the experts to get close to countries and also to get close to the sub-regional organizations like Ecowas, SEALS, and G5 Sahel, UMOA for the Francophone, to work with them and to help develop agriculture. And when we talk about agriculture, we talk about crop production, we talk about livestock production, we talk about fisheries and aquaculture, and also all environmental natural resource management issues. And as you know, we are concerned by, let's say, food security and nutrition. But to be able to be efficient in helping these countries, every year we have to stop, present the results of what we have achieved in the sub-region to all stakeholders, but at the same time we have to plan for the year. And this planning has been very, very important because we get also the feedback from all the stakeholders from Ecowas, from countries, from farm organizations, from the private sector, and also for financial partners. And with this planning, it's helped us actually to be efficient in assisting. So that what the multidisciplinary team meeting is all about. And this year we were pleased really to have this meeting taking place here in Nigeria. And I will take this advantage of this to congratulate and thank the government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria that really welcome us here, and the meeting has been really going on very well.
Okay, now talking about getting feedback and the achievements you have just talked about so far, what can you say have been achieved?
Yes, I can give a few examples.
Okay.
When we established this, let's say, this office in West Africa in 2019, we were not really coordinating our activities in the sub-region. Today, the portfolio in terms of research mobilization in West Africa is about $500 million that we have used effectively to assist countries with. And I'm talking about money that was raised by FAO in each of the 15 countries. So this is a great achievement. The second very important aspect of this work is also helping countries in emergency issues, in resilience building at the country level. And as you know, West African, let's say, environment is faced with several challenges, going from conflict to climate change, and this has a great effect on food security and on agricultural development. So in each of the countries, and I think Fred will talk specifically about Nigeria, we have successful projects in the different sectors that I mentioned to you actually. For instance, in livestock, we are working very closely with countries in the area of pastoralism. We are also working on animal feeding issues. We are working on developing several value chains in the countries on rice, on cassava, on millet, and so on and so forth. Those are the major ones that I want to. We are even working today on cocoa in countries. In fisheries aquaculture, with innovation, we are helping countries today to develop innovative method for aquaculture in West Africa. And as you know, West Africa is fish deficit, let's say, zone. And we have to help countries to develop this, and also build the capacity of countries to be able to manage illegal fishing that is happening on our coast. Soil degradation is one of the issues in West Africa, which we are addressing. We are also working a lot on the Great Green Wall initiative to see how we can build this structure strongly to stop desertification in West Africa. I mean, I can cite it so many of them, but I want to give the key ones.
Okay, all right. So much, I think has been done from what you have just outlined. But while you were also talking, you made mention of climate. You made mention of conflict. You also made mention of land degradations. These are all factors, affecting food, food security and malnutrition in Ecowas region. How are you coping with this?
Yeah, but this is a very good question. In fact, this is our main challenge, actually. And food security is really, we achieve food security when producers or government They work in a stable environment that farmers can actually grow food and livestock on the land. But with conflict, farmers are running all the time. They are being displaced, and this is very difficult for us to achieve quickly what we should achieve. Also, as you know, climate change that I talk about is also happening with drought in the Sahel, with the lack of water, and without water we cannot do anything. So what we are doing today to reverse the situation, and I can give you quickly some numbers. The sub-region went from 10.8% of undernourished people in 2016 today to about 21.8% of undernourished. So this means about 85 million of West Africans actually go to bed hungry. And this is not acceptable at all. So we are working very rigidly with government, collaborating with them to see how we can reverse this. And to give you one aspect of what we do, we have developed about 7 big programs with Ecowas actually for West Africa. The program on agroecology, program on youth employment, program on fisheries and aquaculture, program on water management in the sub-region, program on nutrition. We have several programs on rice development, so several programs that we are working on today with Ecowas.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Fred Ferrero. Please, we want to say thank you very much for coming on the program Africa Weekly and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
It's all right. Now, we'll now take a break. Up next is Tidbit segment. Please do stay with us. All right, joining me via Zoom live to discuss the development is Sub-Regional Representative Fred Ferrero of FAO. Dr. Fred, we are pleased to have you on Africa Weekly.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now what has been the role of FAO countries in the MTD, the multidisciplinary team?
well, the multidisciplinary team meeting brings together this region of West Africa, 15 countries of that, and in this meeting, countries deliberate upon the programs that they set, first and foremost on the priorities that they set together with the government in the countries, and then try to align those priorities of countries together with FAO's priorities, and as well we use it as a kind of structure for accountability, where we share previous years' interventions and challenges that are faced together and how we can be able to address them. But more important also to create synergy and collaboration in joint programs, and UN, in the sub-region, and also development part. So basically that's what we've been doing.
Okay, so what has been the contribution? You are the country representative of Nigeria. What has been the contribution of governments of member countries like Nigeria and in the MTD exercise?
Nigeria, just like the other countries in the sub-region, have been playing a key role in critiquing, also in helping FAO sort of align its work program in the sub-region to the priorities of the country. For example, we've been talking a lot about issues of food insecurity and malnutrition in the country, and how FAO's technical expertise can come to support the country, to overcome some of these things. We've talked about environmental issues and the ecosystem management, looking at all these issues around the Sahel and how they impact also Nigeria, looking at opportunities, for example, the Great Renewal, which my colleague talked about, and the efforts there to be able to support communities who live in that belt, first of all, to revamp their environment, but more importantly, that they can be able to, obtain a living from it. So there are quite a range of things that we've been involved in, and also looking at other initiatives of FAO at corporate level. How these initiatives, for example, what we call the hand-in-hand initiative, can be utilized in Nigeria to be able to support investment in the agriculture sector. So these are some of the few things that I can talk about.
All right, so thank you very much for your time, Mr. Kafero Fred, for your thoughts on the program. Thank you for coming on Africa Weekly.
Welcome, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. That was Dr. Fred Kafero there, the FAO sub-regional representative, in Africa. Nigeria's ambassador to Brazil, Professor Ahmed Mohamed McCarthy, has highlighted the importance of Green Imperative project using Brazilian expertise in agricultural mechanization and value addition to ensure Nigeria increases agricultural production and food security.
The Brazil-Nigeria Green Imperative Initiative draws participation of educational institutions, industry association under Brazilian Machinery Manufacturers Association and banking organizations, which converge to serve as sustainability factor for practical implementation. This is on the sidelines of Expo Direto Contrigal 2022 International Agribusiness Fair, which held in Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil. Ambassador Makarfi, who made presentation on what Africa is offering the world, attended by ambassadors of Sudan, Ivory Coast, and Namibia, among others, said the continent, given its huge human and natural resources, can play a crucial role for economic development through mutually beneficial relationship. On Brazil-Nigeria Green Imperative Project, Ambassador Ahmad Makarfi said the partnership is yielding 10,000 tractors and 50,000 accessories among many other areas of partnership to promote modern agricultural practices in all geopolitical zones of the country. He described Nigeria as investors-friendly, being the biggest market in Africa, with more than 200 million people, infrastructure support base, and other incentives, including tax holiday and profit transfers by business owners. While noting that many companies have started making more inquiries on possibilities of investment in key sectors of Nigerian economy across value addition firms, information technology, mineral resources exploration and services, Ambassador Makarfi expressed commitment to fast-tracking them to actualization. The 5 days International Agribusiness Fair brought agricultural machinery, equipment and trade, agro-industry specialists, seed, biotechnology, fertilizers, chemicals, technology companies, and genetics and laboratory research, among others.
African Development Bank Group President Dr. Akiwumi Adesina has received the Extraordinary Personality of the Year Award for 2021, conferred by a Lagos-based Silverbird Group, a multimedia and entertainment business serving different areas of sub-Saharan Africa. The award recognized Dr. Akiwumi's commitment to promoting food security in Africa through agricultural innovation under the African Development Bank's Group High 5 priorities.
I wanted to let you know this so that you know that it doesn't matter where you start from. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where your parents are. I live in neighborhoods with no water. We had no toilet. We had nothing. We used to sometimes even use, don't let me give you all the details because you wouldn't know, some of you are too rich for that. But the reason why I say this is this. Today, to the glory of God, I don't manage 25 cents. I manage $208 billion of a bank. I say that only to make this point. Only God does extraordinary things. It takes ordinary people, if they are obedient to Him as instruments, to do extraordinary things in the lives of others.
And that's our package this week on Africa Weekly. Many thanks to you for watching. I am Charles Alpha.